Whispers in the Bonewood. The villagers called it Bonewood. They said the trees were grown from cursed soil, that roots drank from blood, not water, and that no one who wandered in ever returned, not in one piece. But Mara had no choice. She ran, barefoot, breathless, through the underbrush. Behind her, torchlights flickered from the ridge. The men from Red Hollow had found the tracks. They always found the tracks. She didn't know why they hunted her, only that she had to run, and Bonewood was the only place they feared more than her. So she crossed the old stone line at the forest's edge, where wildflowers stopped growing and the ground grew cold, and Bonewood swallowed her whole. The forest was unnaturally silent. No birdsong, no insects, just the rustle of leaves whispering things she couldn't understand. At first, Mara thought it was the wind, but there was no wind, just voices. These voices were low, wet, and close. She pushed forward, trying to ignore the way the trees leaned in, bark gnarled like knuckles, limbs like twisted arms. Every tree seemed to watch her. Some were carved with symbols, spirals and jagged mouths, filled with old blood. Her stomach twisted. She hadn't eaten in 2 days. Her ankle throbbed from where she tripped on a root. Still, she walked deeper, hoping for a clearing, a stream, anything. But Bonewood didn't give. It took. By the second night, Mara wasn't sure if the whispers were real or in her head. She saw things, half-hidden eyes peeking from between trunks, fingers brushing her shoulder when she wasn't looking. Once, she found a rabbit nailed to a tree, its insides removed and filled with stones. A message, or a warning. She thought of turning back. But where? Back to the men who burned her village, who marked her as a witch because she'd survived the fever when others hadn't. No, she would die in Bonewood before she went back. On the third night, the forest changed. The trees grew closer, their limbs interlocking, forming tunnels of flesh-like bark. Strange, fleshy totems hung from branches. Human jawbones, knotted hair, teeth tied with sinew, and that's when she saw them. Figures, naked, silent, faces painted with ash and blood. Some were smeared in meat, their mouths red and dripping. They crouched in the dark like animals, eyes reflecting torchlight that wasn't hers. Watching, waiting. Cannibals, the villagers whispered. But these weren't just men. They were something older, something that had once been human and chose not to be anymore. They didn't speak, not aloud, but in her mind. Mara heard them.
You came to us. You crossed the bloodline. You belong now.
She ran. Again. She doesn't remember falling, just waking in a pit of bones, ankle snapped, face caked in mud. The walls pulsed with warmth, as if the forest itself were alive. Above, the cannibals watched, their faces expressionless. Then one of them dropped down beside her. A woman, tall, pale, a crown of vertebrae around her head. She leaned in close, whispering into Mara's ear.
You are not prey, little one. You are chosen. The Bonewood calls to the broken, and you are very, very broken.
Weeks passed, or maybe hours. Time didn't work right in Bonewood. They fed her. Not flesh, not yet. Mushrooms that bled black sap. Roots that screamed when pulled from the earth. They taught her how to move unseen, how to listen to the forest's heartbeat. And Mara changed. Her eyes turned black. Her voice grew quiet. Her fear melted like fat over flame. The whispers no longer frightened her. They guided her until one day she stood at the edge of the forest again. Behind her, Bonewood whispered, "Hungry." Before her, a child wandered too close to the tree line. Mara smiled and took her first step forward.